2, 1.
What's up, everybody?
Love that intro.
Yeah, thank you for Ryan for putting that together. So what's up, everybody? Ian Walsh, Hard Money Bankers, joined my partners Ryan Walsh and Josh Wyman, Hard Money Bankers. What's up, guys? And our guest of the week here is Pam Rosser Thistle. Pam, thank you so much for joining us again.
Yeah.
So excited to have you. Last time we had you, the market was shifting, and now I think the market is like shifted. So at this point, we let's talk about where we are. Like, how have things settled in to your life of real estate?
When I watch your program regularly, and you kept talking. You were ahead of the curve because you kept anticipating how the market was going to shift, and being an eternal optimist, I was not believing it. I didn't want to believe it. I was able to ride the wave longer than many agents. I had my best year last year. Actually, I just found out I was on the America's Best list.
Hey.
Yeah,
that's good.
So
that
as an individual
agent,
I did almost $28 million last year.
Wow.
So, but I will never do that again.
No, I don't say that. No, you can't. You just jinx yourself. You can't say that.
I'm realistic.
Take it back.
No, go back to being an optimist. That's
Are you retiring? Are you retiring? Because it always comes back.
No
you don't look nearly young. Exactly. In 10 years, we're going to be having the same conversation. The same exact
56 million. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Right.
Yeah, because I got into real estate, and somebody was asking me this morning. I was out, Berkshire Hathaway had a mastermind this morning, and so we were talking about things. And we had a mix of people who had been in the business for many years and then some newer agents. And someone said, "When did you get in the business?" I said, "I can't really remember, but it was bad. But I didn't know it was bad. I think it was 2008. So anyway, I have seen the ups and the downs, and I know that's how this business is. It's not like working for the government."
No, it's definitely different. But I think you'll do well, and you'll continue to do well, and it's because it's not a mistake that you had your best year last year. Like that stuff isn't. It's not like you caught a lottery ticket. That was. So it'll continue. It may not be a record breaker this year, but you'll succeed, and then you will have your record breaker again in a few years, or when the market kind of, whenever you get your head around where the market is and stuff like that. But what have you been seeing in the last, call it, like 2 months? Like, what does that look like for you? Because I know coming into the year, like December for a lot of people was dead, and then January and February had like an uptick. Like, where have you been the last 6 years?
Yeah. So December, January, and even February were scary. There was not a lot going on. And I think a lot of agents were scared because they didn't know what was, like, is there enough business to make a living here? And I think that, and now it's gotten, I feel like now we're in the new normal, and I've adapted. I'm content with it. It's a little bit more manageable from a lifestyle perspective too. So it's not all these and the city market and the suburban market are very different. And that's why I went out to Wayne, PA today on the main line, because one of my biggest strengths is the Berkshire Hathaway network. And so because I only sell in the box, I refer a lot out. I get a lot of referrals in, and I like to find out what other agents in other markets are doing. And so that was my purpose for being out in Wayne today with other top agents within the Berkshire Hathaway network. So what we're seeing in the city and what's happening in other markets like the suburbs and the Jersey Shore, it's all very different. So we're balanced in the city. There are less transactions. So I wouldn't say that it's bad or it's good. It is unpredictable. When you put something up, you don't know if you're going to get, a lot of activities, quick offers, or if it's going to sit there and you have to reduce it, or it may not even sell. We're kind of in uncharted waters right now. And a lot of it is people have a life is short mentality. If somebody wants it and your listing fits into their criteria, it might not even be the best house or the best condo. It's just what works for them. So it's a market where you have to communicate with prospective buyers, sellers, but also agents in a consistent way on many different levels, because we have agents who are new to the business and they might be mostly on social media communicating, and then others who want a personal phone call. And I just had somebody, as I was checking my email before I came on here, I thought this was so great. So somebody showed one of my listings, and first of all, it's hard to get feedback from people sometimes. This agent sent me a video of feedback. Isn't that interesting? Like,
That seems like
saying that his buyer had some interest in the listing. Do you have any offers? Can we talk? And so I'm going to talk to him after.
I'm trying to think about what the edge is there. Like, are they trying
interesting?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like what they're doing. And there's not like, because it's not.
Yeah.
Is it the most efficient? Is it they're trying to be like the person that you remember? What's the play? Right. I feel like you would know this one, right?
Yeah, because it's like the corporate, like, you send cookies with your resume, right? Like you have to do something to stand out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like they'll remember the video. I mean, technically they will remember. Pam, you're going to remember that video because we're talking about it right now.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
so it technically worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Here's my thought. Now that you asked, like, because I didn't really think about the reason behind it, I was more taken by it. I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah, okay.
Well, they got to be genuine in the video, right? Otherwise, you're just going to be like, but it sounds like they communicated to you how they truly felt, and that it stands out, So.
Yeah, my thought is, so the agent is from a well-known team, who is on the main line. And so my hunch is that this team covers a lot of territory, and they may not focus I know they don't focus just on the city. So they may be putting offers in markets that are very competitive. And as you said, this is the bringing cookies. This is something a little bit extra to develop the relationship with the listing agent, which I would say in the city, it's not really necessary. Although I have to say, like, it's mostly the same agent selling the houses. We have a pretty tight network. And then there's some new people. So I had never met him before. But I just thought it was a very nice approach.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that happens during times like this, right? Like, now all of a sudden you like it and you're like, you know what? I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's standard in real estate, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But that doesn't come out. It only comes out in times like this. Like that type of creativity, that type of like, how do I get in front of people, right? And those are the people that not just survive, but they grow their business in times like this. So you see something that you like, you take it, you do it, and now all of a sudden it's industry standard.
I have to say, we are a bunch of copycats.
Yeah, everybody
Realtors
is. There's
are
no
real
original ideas.
Yeah, there is no badge. Like you don't make more money for being original. That's not how it works. You make more money for being able to repeat what does work. So, and it's not like we're like artists where it's like, there's no copyright infringement for what we do. It's like just take the most effective and efficient way to do it, and then repeat that. If you don't do that and you try to reinvent the wheel, I'm always like, you're just spinning your wheels. And I say that because I did that for probably like the first few years of my career, thinking that I had to like build this the way that me and Josh knows very well, like we had to build this our way. And it was like, you know what, like, why don't we just do what somebody else was doing? It's a lot easier. So, but that's what everybody does now. I agree with what Ryan said about, so like in this market space, when people have to stand out, this is where you find those things, because you also have left like standing are the pros, right? So you have like your Pams and your other realtors that aren't like just new to the game. So you guys know what you're going to have to do certain things. And so you're going to get the most creative individuals because they got here to begin with. So the most talented individuals are standing in the game right now. So you're going to see things come out of their platforms that will then hit the open market, like these maybe videos or whatever it may be. And then it'll become standard to all the new agents that are out there in some way. So I think you're going to actually find a lot of new creativity and new cool things that could come out of this time, because you're going to have so much talent in a small ring, and that they're going to have to stand out, I think.
No, I think you're right. I think that there are two sides of it. One is, well, there was the whole, one-upping on technology that happened whenever that was, like 4 or 5 years ago. And now everybody has the same resources. There were brokers that were ahead of the game. But now everybody you just have to use them. That's the thing. A lot of people don't use them. So, and then I think you have to blend it with basic skills and realize that they are the spoon that's feeding you. But when you get that spoon coming up to your mouth, you have to know how to take a bite. Like, have to have that competitive spirit to go for it. And you have to know how to close a deal. You have to know how to get through a transaction. So they're going to take you to a point, but then you have to have, just like an athlete, basic skills. Like, you got to know how to take it to the hoop. So no matter how many leads you get, you need to know how to do it. So, so anyway, I think that in this kind of market, you're right. There will be new things that will become standard, tools that are extra that people are using. But then I feel like right now it's a lot of like the varsity, basically, like the top people who are just knowing how to get it done. Like, you can't have somebody like throw you the ball and you drop, like, and you miss it. Like, there isn't enough business to fumble it. So you have to have the skills to know how to close a deal, or to know where to put it. Somebody might be not in your zone. Okay, refer it. Or they might not be ready. That's fine too. I'll wait forever. I have someone I'm working with, I met 11 years ago. There's no time frame. It's their time frame, not your time frame. So you have to know how to manage them with your CRM, or, however you keep track of people. So, so I think it's a combination of special skills and basic skills in this market to keep going.
Yeah, I think that, we're at a time now where it's just like, there's just no room for, because if you, like you said, if you don't perform in terms of being a professional, you're going to drop the ball, and then you're not going to eat, and you can't not eat right now. Right.
Exactly.
So it's like, so you have to take the food off the table. And I know I've really enjoyed working with everybody that's left in the game right now, because there was a washout. There were definitely people that left.
Let me ask you, how many people, because it's harder to know because people aren't as in person now. Have a lot of people left?
Yeah. Yeah, there's but not a lot. Like, all the familiar faces are still here.
Okay.
The people that have definitely left have been like probably the agents that came up in the last 3 years that hadn't established themselves.
Yeah.
So statistically, it was like, I think one of the agents mentioned it to us. It was like a 35% washout.
What? Already?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like that's been since like December. Like, it was like 35% of the agents were washed out. So,
oh my gosh.
But so you don't even notice it, because you're not like, so how many agents came in that were like part-time agents that just quit their job, that were just new agents just flooding their brokerage licenses, right? You don't even know who they were.
Right.
Those are the ones that washed out, and the ones that are standing are your pros. And so to you, like, not much change, because you're typically dealing, like you said, with the same people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I for one, I know Ryan and Josh probably like it as well. Like, the bodies that are standing still of all parts of real estate are great, right? So it's not just the agents. So when we deal with agents now, I deal with agents that speak the right language, right? So they're immediately the
Yes.
professionals. I know what I'm like. I can talk to them. I don't have to explain anything. I know I can tell in 30 seconds there's a professional I'm talking
Oh,
to.
it's so much easier. Yeah.
One thing I love has been the service and the productivity of title companies because before all this, like some of the title companies I dealt with were like, it was as if they thought I was doing them a favor. I've never been in so many arguments with title companies over things that I'm like, what are you talking? Like, you're servicing our like situation. Like, I'm not doing you a favor. I'll just take it, move somewhere up. But they're like, oh, I'm so busy. I don't have time. Nobody's like that anymore. It is like, how fast can I close this for you? What can I do? Here's your update. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, yes, this is how title is supposed to go.
I know. I feel like that too. There was
Which
some
is so much
strange
better. I
things
like
happening when it was really busy.
Yeah. It was just people didn't know how to scale with the amount of volume that was in front of them.
I feel like some of it, because you really have to protect your client, and some of it was just not acceptable. Like,
it was like,
I remember somebody said, well, we're going to close at the house. Why? Like, don't you have an office? Like, and so I said, well, my seller wants a check cut. So it's not going to be wired. She's going to be there and we're going to walk out with a check. And we were at the house. I don't know why. And like, they didn't have the check to cut. And so I like had to block the door. I was like, no, we are not leaving. We just sold a house. She just sold a house.
Right.
You signed all the documents and you're rolling out without the check?
And I also need a settlement sheet. You're not sending it 2 days from now because, I'll get that to you. Wait, we just sold a house and there's no money, no settlement sheet?
No.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's
bizarre.
funny is that instances of fraud track the cycle of real estate, the market, all that kind of stuff. So when you get big bubbles and everybody's involved, fraud just increases. You think of a situation like that, how many agents, how many people would have stepped in and stopped that from moving forward?
Yeah.
And just said, you know what? Oh, I'll get it in 2 days. You have your wire. It'll be there. Don't worry about it.
I know. I was like, absolutely not. My seller was standing there. We did like a chain by the door. We're like, no, nobody is leaving.
Right.
I don't care if your colleague has to climb in the wind. Like, this is.
It just doesn't smell right. I mean, and we've had loans like that where, you look at it and you're like, whoa, hold on. What was that now? You're not, your name's nowhere in the transaction, but you're taking out the loan on the property. Like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Like, just crazy things that pop up that, if you just rush through it, you don't think about it until it's too late.
Yes.
Anyway,
if you're not a pro, you just let them walk out the door before you know what happened. You're like, what just happened? You don't even know. So it's nice now. That washout has kind of trickled through, but I'm enjoying the dealing with the individuals in the industry right now. I really am. Like, I think it's just a better conversation every time I pick up the phone. It's from anywhere from the new borrowers to the agents to the title companies. Everybody just kind of like knows the game because there's really not a lot of new unknown in there. And when they are new, they seem to be even like, for some reason they're more educated than like the old new people. I don't really know why.
Yeah.
But, so that's what we see.
I know. And I think that you have to know how to cut to the chase.
Right.
As far as like doing a deal, there are different parties to the transaction who might use distraction or like, getting caught up in the emotional pieces of it. And I think that you need to be able to focus people through the transaction and know what's important and what doesn't matter. Like like sometimes people get like caught up over like a $15 item or something. Like, I don't know. Like, they get really like in this like, I want to win. And so I think being able to just like cut through and give some perspective to the clients, and help them, get through the transaction in a way that is not going to be like they thought they won, but they didn't, and something got missed. And so I think that being very focused, and being an advocate too, and And I think that this is something I'm going to say that's a little sexist. So I think being a woman really, especially one like my husband is very sick. He's has cancer now, and I take care of him, and I also take care of some other people. So like when I'm in the hospital, I'm an advocate. Although our hospitals are so wonderful here, I don't really have to too much, but I like it's that same. And then I have kids, and the kids are a little unhinged now, like with after COVID. So like there's a lot that you have to sort through, and you have to just cut to the chase, cut to the chase, cut to the chase. Don't have your ego get you all messed up and distracted and losing sleep. And so I think that you have to be emotionally tough, and you have to be tough with your skills. And you have to have a lot of things going at the same time, but keeping it focused and moving it on and saying like, what's going to move me to the end of the transaction, or helping a client, getting things done and not being distracted by the periphery, which I think that is a problem with some people. And maybe when they look at their like production, but they thought they were so busy, but like what, you have to prioritize and know where to push it and know where to just let it go.
Yeah.
I think, right.
I think everything you just said, because we always say like even Ian just now saying working with professionals, right? It's like, what does that mean? It's hard to pinpoint, but I think everything you just said is what a professional in this space can do, and they do it well. And when one professional is talking to another, because you're both doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I think you just walk through the last 60 seconds that you just said, and it's like that is what you want to be able to do in this industry.
It's like that game recognizes game, right? That's what it really is.
Yeah.
So call it what you will. So Pam, this has been good, and I've decided in the middle of this interview that we're gonna now, because we can get a little wacky on this show at times. So instead of getting wacky, we're just gonna say we're gonna end each interview with like a question that that's relative to the craziness of the world.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna at the end of each interview now. So first, my question to you, and I don't know why I just came up with this in the middle of the interview. Do you think so? Artificial intelligence is like a big thing on the world, right? Do you think artificial intelligence will replace realtors?
No, I feel like since the two reasons, at least in my market, it's mostly Gen Z right now, younger, and there's so much technology, but they need guidance. People really need guidance. They need reassurance. There's a whole skill set in being able to, as the overused word, curate the information that you need, and to know how to sort it into something that is practical. It could be used for things like writing the descriptions. There might be, and I have to say, like, I don't use Chat GBT. I really enjoy writing. But when I use a lot of automation, a lot of AI and automation on the back end, but I customize it. So I think that if you can blend the two, then that's the perfect, like I'll get emails from people answering questions that was like part of a drip campaign that I wrote, and they think it's me. But then I start talking to them and I help them. And I tell them before I turn it on that I'm going to do it, because I'll say, this is a way for me to organize communications. I want to stay in touch with you, but just realistically, I'm not going to remember 9 months from now. So I think if we can do the blend, it might be different. Maybe there won't be as many assistants or something. Maybe there'll be like a piece of it that it just adjusts as far as what you need as far as staffing goes. But I think a big part of real estate is, if I can channel Kathy Conway.
Okay.
Kathy, I always love, she's my real inspiration as I think about doing real estate. Like, could Kathy Conway be replaced by AI? Like all that she gives, and that love, and and her son Pat too is the same way. That's what people want, somebody to guide them through. So I think that part will not change, but yet some of the automation will. There could be some things that are automated.
So your take is AI will enhance the realtors, but not replace the realtors.
That's my take, yeah. And I would like that because I am able to do my business by myself, and I'm not really ever that stressed. And because I use I know when I need to be live, and I know when the technology can do it. And I, with my husband being sick, I have been working from home a lot to take care of him. So I could never do that. Like I'll be going over to Fox Chase after this for the day. And, as we're in the waiting rooms and everything, and as he's getting his chemo, like I can close deals. And I don't tell anybody like, oh, I'm in the hospital now.
But you don't need to, right?
Why? No one ever asks. No one cares.
No, it doesn't matter. I was just thinking, I just got a vision in my head of like, I was like, where AI would be really effective in that same scenario earlier where you were chaining yourself to the door. But instead of if it was like an AI robot, I'm telling you, you would get the check, you would get everything you wanted. If you were just trying to leave the house and an AI robot was rolling with you, you'd be in pretty good shape. I don't think that person's going to leave without giving you a check. I'm just saying. So
maybe they could clone, like maybe I could clone myself.
There you go.
And I could be home working, and there could be like a Pam running around.
Hey,
wouldn't that be
options
weird?
are unlimited.
Like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Remember that movie?
Yeah, I was listening to the Google X's ex CEO just retired. He just did a podcast on AI, and he thinks it's like he's terrified of it.
Well, it is really because they can take your voice.
Oh, there's many reasons.
But, he's terrible. Voice.
He said that in 2037, the entire world is either going to be on an island. Everybody's going to be on an island. The question is whether you're running from the machines or the machines are doing everything for you. Which island are you going to be in? Right. So he also says though that like the speed right now of increase. So right now you're envisioning, okay, it's enhancing the realtors' businesses, right? Which I agree. Right now we're at the point where ChatGPT enhances.
Stop
business.
It. Cut it off. I wish I could say stop it because we have what we need now.
And he said ChatGPT right now is a 160 IQ, which is Albert Einstein, he said. So that's Albert Einstein 160. He said, but the next ChatGPT 4, which comes out in like a few months, like January or something like that, is 10x. So now it's a 1600 IQ. And then the next one after that, ChatGPT 3, will be roughly 10x that, 16,000. He said at some point in the very near future, you're at a point where you're not even we're not talking anymore. Like they're too smart to talk to us, communicate with us. There's no point. And it happens that fast. So right now we're still at the point where it enhances what we're doing. But the speed that he went over with it, he was like, it's terrifying. He said there's an actual chance that it goes so fast that essentially artificial intelligence just leaves our planet, just goes out into they're not even communicating in our dimension anymore. They're gone because it's just, we are so insignificant to them. And it happens at such a ramping speed that it's like, instead of just like killing us off or doing whatever they're going to do, they're just like, nah, we don't even care anymore. We're gone. But it was a super interesting podcast. Yeah.
I mean, Elon's upset about it, and that's
he went on like a tear.
I can't figure that guy out. Do I love him?
No. Nobody can. We don't know. Is
like,
he with us or is he against us? We don't know. Is he with us or against us? He's got the World Economic Forum on, like everybody was like, all right, he's one of the good guys, and then he puts the World Economic Forum leader in the head of Twitter, and you're like, wait a minute, you want to kill us all? What's going on? And then it's like, and then he makes a comment about, he did some sort of comment about, I forget, but every now and then you're like, oh, that was really funny. He's one of us. And then you're like, no, he wants to control. I don't know. Nobody knows.
That's sort of the allure of him is you're not, he's like smart, like way beyond us. Maybe he's AI.
Oh,
maybe he's not a person.
Pam,
he was the prototype.
There we go.
He is AI. Oh.
One last comment.
That is enough for this show. This went way overboard.
One last comment. Ryan, I love your shirt.
Do you want one?
I have two. We wear them all the time.
Yeah. Pam's like one of our.
Everybody in the family. It's awesome. Like the grab shirt that everybody wears. We have to restock, Pam. They're so soft.
We got to send her some new ones.
Yeah, I got to get a hat next time we restock.
Yeah, the hat ones are good too.
Yeah.
My daughter, who is like no idea, she's very academic. She's not in, like, she wears it around. I don't think she has any idea what it
It's
is.
just comfy. They're just comfy. It's what it is. Yeah. I wear them strictly for comfort, and it just happens to have our name on it, but it's definitely for the
They're
comfort
great
first.
shirts.
Yeah. All right, Pam. Well, it's been awesome.
Well, it was great to be here.
All right. Well, if anybody
We'll
wants
hope
to
for the
contact you,
best. We'll hope that we're not on an island next time.
definitely not.
No,
Definitely don't want to be on that island. But we have your name. If anybody wants to contact you, listings or get in contact with you has been scrolling across the bottom. Pam.Thistle@foxroach.com, and we will do this again.
Okay.
Thanks,
Have
Pam.
a good day, everybody.
Take care.
Take care.
All right.
All right.
See ya.